Okay. Let us feel God's presence among us in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Okay, sige. Let's start first with the topics, presentation of the papers that you have gathered yesterday. I have seen supposed to be isa lang unta to sa isa ka team, no? Pero okay lang. Sige. Who would want to volunteer first? Pinsa na group ang una mag-volunteer to present? Sige. Ganahan kay ko basta na mag-volunteer ba? Okay, sige. Sige, we'll start with the group of Gulanes, then Miss Villaflores. Okay.
Okay. The problem statement is gaming playing AI research is focused for a long time on learning playing video games from visual input or symbolic information. Humans, on the other hand, benefit from broader range of sensors that used to navigate the world around us. Sound and music in particular play an important role in how many of us view the world and influence our decision. Bali pagsabot ani kay ang bali magdula tag games in the usual kay ginagamitan din nato tong ato ang mga senses yun, mga hearing, view, audio, and ang seeing, then ang solution naman or methodology, they present an initial finding from studies on gaming playing agents that learn to play video games slowly from audio cues. In this paper, they expand the video game description language to allow for audio specification in general video game AI framework to provide a new audio games and an API for learning agents to make sure to use the audio observation. Balik, gusto nila i-focus na ang game for audio good para maka-help, para ma-broader ang audience sa game goods. So, dili lang siya for kanang visual, pwede po siya sa audio. The result kay they analyze the games and the audio game design process include initial result with the simple view learning. Yes, ma'am.
So mean by audio focus siya na game compared to video focus siya na game?
Yes, ma'am. Pagbasa na ako sa research, ma'am. Bali, audio focus game siya, ma'am. Or
Ano sa'yo pasabot pag audio focus siya na game?
like naman may nakita one time na naay ka lang sa gaps na mo kay nakakita ko game na good siya for blind, good dungeon crawler game siya, ma'am, na nagagamit siya mostly of audio cues lang, like kung naay specific vowel kay a meaning naka sa north balag na ana, ma'am. Pag research na mo ato, pagdula na ako, nag-realize na ako lisod man siya for bago na user, ana among gap pa rin ni, ma'am. So, ang itaan na mag-solution na ang audio cues can mapadali yung mga experience sa game rather than yes ma'am.
So you'll be able to play games. You'll be able to play games just by simply following instructions through
Audio
audios.
cues lang ma'am, like
So like na specific audio signal, na specific audio na audio signal, quote unquote audio signal, tapos mo na siya ang murag trigger nimo to move things. Murag
yes ma'am.
Okay.
Gamit ni mga audio to navigate the area good ma'am. Based on research na gains. Muna po ma'am. Next.
Is it possible na is it possible na murag so ang target man ani no is murag ang blind how they will be able to play video games or games through itong mga blind na
Bali murag ma-enhance
like blind people. So is it possible so ma-enhance ang game experience through audio cues. Is it possible na ang audio, instead of just simply audio, it's a speech instruction siya? So like move to left, move to right, maging
Pwede po ma'am. Na ko nakita po ng mga game na nagagamit sila ng audio cue which nakatabang mo po sila.
Sige. Okay? Sige. Ano sa result sa ilahang Ay, wait lang. Kato sa balik sa dito. Wala pa tayo naman dito. Interesting ba siya para sa kuha? Interesting. Sige. Solution is, unsa na specific methodology ang ilang gigamit for this one? Like, na sila gigamit na game engine?
Bali, nagtanaw-tanaw ko sa YouTube ato ma'am. Bali, na sila gigamit marag dungeon crawler.
Kanina specific research.
Kanina specific research. Wala sila nag-specify ma'am, pero based sa akong nakita kay bali itong nakita lang ako ma'am kay katong dungeon crawler lang ma'am kay nag-search ko wala man ang reference nila ni ma'am hindi tanan ako sa lahang kung RRL ba to or wala dito so nag-search ko ka ng related ma'am so, nakita mo ko atong dungeon crawler game ma'am na wala mo interesting lagi ni so ato
Wait lang pinabasa na ko ang ilang paper. Can check this link. Sama na ilang paper. To? Ang ilang methodology. Q-learning siya.
More machine learning ba na ma'am Q-learning?
Q-learning. Model reinforcement learning siya. To learn. Okay. Okay. Inahan ko Simple Simple na daw, simple Q learning agents were suggested to have promise in such environments. Although work in progress siya, this is actually a very good. Ano. Pero wala sila nag-mention ng specific na, I don't know, kung sila nag-gamit for this. Like some simple proof of concept experiments analysis of the framework and games included. We have adopted a sample Q learning method from the GV learning track to work with the new API. We intend to focus on this one. You can check on this. You mentioned na nila silang paper. Game AI competition. Di ata sila nanguha og sa engine ilang gigamit to work with the new API, in particular in this state in terms of audio observation. The knowledge base is updated at the end of the gameplay using one game. I see. Sige. Sige daw, continue daw.
Georgie.
Okay. Sige. Were you able to find where you could possibly simulate this kind of experiments? Kay for sure, do nagamit sila kanang maingani na rack servers o for sure dili man mo makaano ani, di man mo maka-implement og maingani. So would you or were you able to find something that some application where you can simulate this kind or this type of research? Balik sa ta dito. So, inyo man ni siyang gibutang. So, like, nganong, murag, unsay, ano ninyo, like, unsay motivation ninyo, ano siyang gibutang ninyo? Is it because blockchain technology is in right now, or? Okay. So, kana siya. Mhm. So, I would really say na murag dili gyud doable ni ani na type of sa inyong state karon or sa inyong case, murag di siya doable kay kung ano mo maghimo mga experiments ani asa ba ninyo siya i-simulate murag ana good. Pero sa nang like say kunyari mag-involve mo og machine learning, kaya ninyo siya ma-experiment bisag wala mo'y device kay naman tay collab which is freely available siya na dito mo mag usab-usab sa mga algorithms and so on and so forth. Murag equivalent for simulating blockchain type of research na pareha sa collab. So press ani magbutang kag rack servers. I don't know now kuy ano. Pwede ba niya siya sa ano? Pwede ba niya siya sa sana kanang ginagamit good sa ano kanang packet tracer dili no? Packet tracing lang man good siya no? Although pwede makabutang dito og mga devices dili na siya pwede no? So yeah, dili ni feasible ni. So far ang number 1 pa lang ang medyo okay. Sige daw, third daw. Sige daw, pakita nimo. Na kay pakita? Sige daw. So unsa man ang unsa ang methodology pag create og ato? Ha? Ah. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Like ah sana siya ha? Dagan naman kay nagawas na mga anak karon, diba? Nice to siya na ah, I don't know, unsa ang pwede na murag asa siya na space pwede ma-apply, like asa siya na domain pwede ninyo siya ma-apply na mahimo siyang helpful. Okay, yes, na existing code ana, na gun code for that. Saan na to na siya pwede apply ha? Uh, kung like say if you choose to work on that. Okay, like say for example, katong naay isa na ang focus nila is saan na siya ha? Murag ang focus nila is to murag sa historical good, murag cultural na sila, ang goal nila is cultural aspect, like making significant people in the history or in the past kanang murag ano nila come back to life, murag ingana na sila murag ingana na goal. Okay, so may ingana na appreciation. So asa kaya nato siya pwede na ma-apply? Or ang inyong problem focus pwede pod sa kung namoy makita na specific problem didto sa iyahang pag-generate og 3D object. So unsa man, like katong example nimo ganina, like the smoothing, daghan like di ba sa kamot niya kay murag pa siya ano. Oo. Ato na pwede po dinto ang inyong focus. Like smooth ninyo siya na as in ang kamot lang yun ang iyahang makuha, wala siya dili makuha to murag na sa background. So kung naamoy ma-apply na murag pre-processing before you do the training or before you do the training process, pwede ka na ang inyong gamiton or pwede dito mo mag-focus. Pwede dito mo mag-focus. So ingani ang approach is when you try to look kung ingani kaninyong focus sa 2D to 3D na 2D to 3D na type of technology, you can find a problem domain wherein kani siya is applicable siya or kanang makatabang kaayo siya. So pwede ingana ang approach ninyo. Mangita mo problem domain, I would suggest na either health or education kay mao man nato ang research agenda. So mangita mo asa siya pwede dapit na makatabang, education side or health side. Ako'y suggestion, pwede ninyo siya magamit in kanang mga MTBMLE books god. I don't know kung familiar mo kanang mga books na ginagamit sa mga bata. Kung pwede ninyo na siya mapalihok god, mapahimo siyang 3D para sa atong gibuhat nimo ganina. That would be actually very nice. Kay siya pwede niyo isulat sa inyong problem statement that it will enhance it could really enhance the murag engagement sa mga bata in learning a specific topic or a subject kung makita nila nga naga-move ang mga object instead of just seeing a 2D representation of it. Kay currently, nagabuhat og study on captioning the image. So, na siya image na makita, 2D image, tapos naay mag-generate og caption about that image. So, like a description of that image, automatic generation of caption for that image. Okay, so pwede kaayo ma-apply ang kaning ani siya na study na katong 2D image, katong MTBMLE materials na ginagamit sa mga bata karon, mapaano ninyo siya, mabutangan ninyo siya og pareha sa atong ganina. So kana siya, nice na siya. Okay, so that's second one na option ninyo, pwede niyo i-focus. Doable lang pa.
So next is a paper that is a topic about using Mathematica as a teaching tool, a digital image processing experience. So for the problem statement, so according to the paper, that digital image processing, or DIP, is a course that has been taught in educational programs, and caused by its dealing with image data, it is required to use slide-based presentations, and also they also required like using modern technology such as projector. So usually slideshow programs like Microsoft PowerPoint are used for this purpose, wherein in this setup, both of the presentations and programming language are separated, and the code cannot be run on the software and vice versa. So also, DIP is often taught to students in combination with like laboratory skill classes. They also use like laboratories, and in which they are challenged to solve image processing problems. So according to them, they solve the problem. They use the Mathematica, which is an innovative numeric and symbolic computing environment like that is developed for the study of automatons, that consists of dynamic functionality which enables for like quick creation of complicated that's applets pala yan. Applets, which is a Java program that runs in a web browser. And also it creates interactive experience that allows the teachers to explain mathematical equations and etc. like with less effort. So for the results, like it made creating instructive educational presentations easy for the teachers to teach to the students, like with only using a minimum of code, and makes difficult concepts accessible. And for the gaps, akin lang is that they use Mathematica, which is a functional programming paradigm, that makes the learning curve be a bit steep, which means like it is difficult, hard to learn to use.
I see. Medyo ano siya, dili na kayo siya ing anak ka-impactful kay naa naman good tayo existing na unsa na siya kanang may anak na type na kunyari na kay image, na isa ka image sa isa ka equation, tapos i-convert niya into something na automatic text formulation of that formula. So murag dili ni siya magbili ni siya okay, murag wala kayo impact if you're going to pursue with this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige, last.
Same po na conference, ma'am, pero different paper. Ang problem statement is alternative monetization mechanism for video games such as free-to-play games with commercial have emerged as a result of new online stores and digital delivery methods. Despite the fact that many games employ such models, the impact of such interruption on the player's experience has yet to be investigated. Since nato yung bagong media or way of making money for video games is magbutang og ads sa mga game, tapos mo ang study nila kay gina-focus nila na unsa ba daw ka distraction or unsa ba ang least distraction na ads or ano ko pasabot, ma'am. So the solution is in this control experiment, they requested the participants play one of different version of a platformer game with no interruption, 30-second video advertisement, and a multiple choice questionnaire. Then they evaluate the effects on the player experience. Ang result ato kay variation experience include competence, immersion, frustration, affects the questionnaire reliability. This research contributes by determining which player experience variables are influenced by interruption, which can be used in deciding on a business model and directing the game design process. While ang gaps, scroll ko, G. Sa study nila kay wala nila gi-consider ang genre of the game, like platformer lang ilang gi-focus ato. Ang akong i-assume na ko, ma'am, na basin as okay day sa adventure game na ani na ads lang kay dili sila magubaan ani while ang yung platformer games okay lang din sila sa multiple choice game. Like ana akong murag yung kulang mamba, murag bias siguro ang research para sa kuha. Platformer lang yun ang gipangita.
I see. So tama ba, like depending on the game, the choice of advertisement that will be shown kay subjective siya sa game na ginaano?
Akong assume na kumang basig, mas prefer nila ani kung platformer, dili sila kung fast-paced siya na game, ma'am, like makaguba guro ang 30 seconds na advertisement sa experience ni mo, ma'am, okay. Fast-paced ba siya, good akong assume.
I see. Of the 5, ang para sa ko ang na-impact, no, nice kay siya i-pursue kay katong 2D to 3D, tapos katong isa na game playing AI with using audio cues. So, I don't know, among the group, sa 5, katong duha ang mas, I would suggest that you would focus on katong duha. So, and then sa duha, ang mas na ay preference on my part kay first on the nanadayon siya objective katong 2D to 3D. Maisip na dayon ako ang inyong mga objective. One objective is specific objective would be the improvement of optimization of the quality of transforming a 2D image to a 3D image. So, ang kuha ninyo ang murag mga experiments ninyo is without using whatever it is that whatever optimization that you are going, ingani ang iyahang output. Pero pag i-optimize na ninyo siya, ingani ang iyahang output, ingani ang result. So that's one specific objective. The second one is i-apply ninyo siya in a educational domain. So ano na kayo siya, no? Aligned na kaayo siya sa research agenda sa program, which is either educational or healthcare. So pwede ninyo siya gamiton ang inyong mga test materials or testing materials would be katong sa kanang mga MTBMLE books kanang ginagamit sa mga kinder hangtod grade 3 na mga bata. Daghan kay mga storybooks na ginagamit di ara. So if you could murag i-narrate ninyo or i-tweak, not really tweak, pero ang direction ninyo is that students could actually learn better, especially children, if they could see moving objects. Okay, so instead of just a plain 2D images, kung mapalihok ninyo na siya, kana siya na mga images, much better. And then, so that's the second objective na pwede niyo ma-include sa inyong study. Then the third objective is that how would you design or how would you assign movements to these different objects pag na-identify ninyo siya as an animal. So like namoy object tracking, no, object identification or object recognition. So na-recognize ninyo ni siya na object as an animal. So unsa ang movement niya? Parehas lang ba ang movement na inyong buhaton pag animal siya na object, pag tao siya na object, or pag kanang mga vase siya na object? So kanang may good. So unsa man ang importance ana? So mas ma-appreciate sa mga bata na like for example balloon, naka-recognize siya nga naay object dira na balloon. So most likely ang iyang movement would be musaka siya, so not like the movement nga nakita nato ganina na kung tao siya pwede siya left right ang iyang movement, or katong gisundog niya tong viroid kung sa tong movement sa viroid kay mo pud ang movement sa imong object. So natay maing ana na mga type of question which is actually very interesting siya and for sure acceptable kay ni siya na capstone proposal. So kato siya, I suggest that the group will focus on those two topics na inyong nakita and then you talk among yourselves. Para sa kuha okay siya na mga ideas katong duha. And then I will just post another instruction sa kung like magsabot mo karon asa man ang gusto niyo i-focus. Kaya ang next ninyo buhaton is to do a thorough RRL sa katong topic na gusto gid ninyo i-focus. Okay, so kung naka-identify mo na gusto mo dito sa 2D to 3D na type of research, then your next task to do is to look for related literature, so related studies that is aligned to 2D to 3D na mga research works or mga research developments. Okay? So very good. Okay, so kindly take note of that and then next submission ninyo would be katong Soro RRL. So pagsabot mo among your team kung unsang inyong gusto i-focus. Okay, so let's have the next group. Okay.
Okay, so I will be starting with our first paper, which is the design of virtual learning environment, a case from Pangasinan State University, Open University Systems. So this is more like into e-learning educational mga system. So the problem is the university started in 1997 until present, different ways of learning strategies were adopted to deliver high quality education. Thus, the institution would like to determine the practices of the professors in online education and the readiness in a virtual learning environment. So the resolution methodology is the respondents chosen were the faculty members of PSU. The questionnaire was created on an online platform and gave the link to the faculty members. The questions asked were what technological tools you use in online learning, how frequently you are using technological applications, what problems you encountered while utilizing the current tools in online education, and suggestions to improve the online learning environment of PSU Open University Systems. So the result shows that the professor delivering online was found to be traditional. So based on the result of the study, even though the university subscribed to the Google G Suite application, a messaging tool such as Messenger by Facebook was still being utilized in announcing different course requirements, course information, assignments, discussions, and chat sessions. The professors are also creating group chats for each class in order to communicate with students. So our recommendation or the gaps, it is recommended to create a regulation or policy based on the model. So they use the VLE model, the framework na use nila. So yun po sa first paper. So,
Okay. Sige,
continue.
comment lang sa ako ha. So first ninyo nag-identify, one good thing about doing a virtual learning environment type of studies kay timely siya, it's because of the pandemic. Okay? Ang disadvantage lang ani pag mga VLE man good is that sa nakita namo no, ano siya kanang VLE wala dili ta maka-create og a generic na virtual learning environment that is suited for all type of institutions. So for example, natay Canvas, naapod tay Moodle, naapod tay kanang G Suite. Pero each of the institutions that are actually using this kay dili jud nimo na sila, dili nimo ma-force ang mga teachers na kanilang yun ang ilang gamiton. So tama jud ni na naadyoy uban niya naa na gani Google Classroom, naapagid na sila Facebook Messenger chat, naapagid na sila other pa na platforms na gamiton. So, um, it would be difficult for you as the students, especially karon na pandemic, kay ang nindot magud na approach na buhaton ani if we wanted to make a generic na VLE or virtual learning environment is to really interview kanang mga nagagamit og mga VLE na mga institution. So si UIC, ginaunsa niya pag-implement, si USEP, ginaunsa niya pag-implement, si ADU, ginaunsa niya pag-implement. So murag mag-conduct ka og ano ba, mag-conduct ka. Except na lang kung gusto ninyo siya i-implement sa isa lang ka institution, which is isa lang ang maka-benefit gud ana for sure. Like kani sa PSU, for sure kung maghimo na sila VLE, kani ilang VLE pod applicable lang pud na siya sa PSU. Murag ingana gud, murag applicable siya sa culture, sa traditions ni PSU and the facilitators and the teachers and the students of PSU. So kung maghimo mo og VLE for UIC lang siya, ano siya, dili na to mahitong dapat murag all institutions should be able to use it. Kanay nga na good. So kung gusto nimo siya mahimong generic na targeted siya to all types of learning institutions, mag-conduct jud ka og mag-conduct jud ka og focus group discussion or interview sa kanila mga institutions. Actually, kani siya yung na study, pwede unta niyo siya kung sa SAD or Systems Analysis and Design. Okay, so kani siya, gini siya, pasado kayo ni siya sa SAD. Pero sa capstone, we aim for, or we wanted to answer a bigger problem. Okay, so ang possible good na research question ani is how do we design a generic virtual learning environment for all types of that is applicable to all types of learning institutions. Okay? So, bana siya, dako kay na siya na study, lisod kay na siya na study, kay mag-involve pagid na siya og kanang mga management, kanang mga administrator sa mga institutions. And then sila na makasuggest nga, okay, dapat na ing-ani na components. Kaya nakita na mo, based sa mo ang mga faculties, nagagamit sila ing-ani. Parehas ani result sa PSU, which is parehas po na siya sa UIC. Bisan pagtanawon niyo sa UIC, common po na siya. So, kailangan ninyo i-map unsa ang mga common and then basically maybe kani siya na imuon ninyo VLE kay ano siya, would integrate all of those components. Okay? Unfortunately, daghan na kayo mga nagapropose og ana. Okay, daghan na kayo nagabuhat sa daging ana. Na tong i-upgrade nila ang model that would include this kind of component, i-upgrade nila ang maingana good. So, for me, dili kayo ni siya impactful. Okay, sige, let's try to read the next.
Hello, madunggan ko.
Yes.
Okay, so let me first read the title of the study. So, the utilization of UI UX design as a complete step in products marketing to break the middleman or wholesaler system at Klampar Batik SMEs. So, the meaning of SME is small and medium enterprises. So, basically, this is a case study of CV Bintang Abadi Batik SMEs in Klampar Village. So, ang problem sa ganitong study, ma'am, is it has a lack of effective and integrated marketing sa pag-advertise nila sa kanilang products because according to research nasa paper lang din nila is actually they have a wide marketing share because they have been using or still maintains their traditional methods and processes on how they would advertise their products. So good way siya because they still maintain their traditional way, but naging problem siya because as a result kasi it is being utilized by other parties and becomes easily exploited by individuals who have an interest. So ang sa kanilang part is naging disadvantage while sa other businesses and enterprises naging advantage because others have capacities that they have that because they don't have. So ang isip na solution nila and methodology is the method in this study finds that to market the batik SMEs in the Klampar village systematically, there must be touch and the use of technology. So we have four um, solutions and methodologies. The first one is based sa kanilang results. Ay, sa results pala. Sorry. So we have the results. We have four sub-results. The first one is sa observation and interview results. Based sa kanilang analysis from the field data na na-collect, there are findings of the design wherein the first is um, the main owner or director often contributes to production, sales, and marketing. The second is the human resources in Klampar Village and CV Bintang Abadi are still doubtful about or cannot use technology. So according sa kanilang observation is there are some na nag-doubt because with the use of technology, and the community in Klampar Village is in doubt about the operational and the use of technology in the media that is going to be used. Third one is that in the SMEs of Klampar Batik is the relationship between the owner and the employee is relative. So the communication model and conflict resolution applied are different from those of large companies. And the fourth one is the batik design and development of CV Bintang Abadi and other SMEs centered on the owner. And this is essential to the design of the venue and dialogue on UI UX CV. And the second result is UI UX output and design implementation. So under that is there are also three. So sa UI UX design in the field implementation is based on the visual keywords obtained from the data analysis in the field. The keyword is classic and modern visual of Klampar Batik. So the connotative meaning of this keyword has three articulations defined as follows. So the first one is classic visuals. The visuals in the produced media must have a classical and locally based style to show the characteristics and authenticity of the region. Second is modern. Modern patterns on the visual will affect the market share so that the visual presentation will be easily accepted in marketing at Klampar Batik. Klampar Batik is a piece of complementary information in the visual, so the design selection must refer to the Klampar village as a batik producer. The third result is the main media. The main media is aims to make the audience understand batik cloth products in CV Bintang Abadi. Also, questions and answers for products that are sold will be promptly redirected to the owner of batik through the Android application that can be downloaded on Google Play Stores. The fourth one is the supporting media. Supporting media function is to support the main media and its purpose to advertise the main media, but supporting media can also function to create active communication between the batik SMEs and the audience through social media. And lastly, ang gaps sa ganitong study is the UI UX design for batik SMEs cannot stand alone in its marketing system, but must be supported by the relevant media. Supporting media should be designed appropriately, integrated, and inexpensive when implemented in order to provide a educational factor of the importance of a design to the batik audience. Okay.
Okay. So, nice. Okay. So the positive factor of this one, ganahan ko saya ha, it's because you are targeting a specific village, no? So like it's the promotion of a certain kanang mga kanang a certain group of people na dili kayo sila na advertise is because wala sila capability to market things, and then through UI UX pwede ninyo siya matabangan sila no na mag-market. Okay, so later na ako yung masuggest sa inyo ha. Medyo in line siya ani na topic. Okay, so good ni siya sa ako na para sa na topic, pero you will be focusing on the how are you going to help in the promotion and preservation of endangered languages in Mindanao. Okay, so kana siya. Nice very nice na siya na topic. How are you going to um, coming up with a good capstone proposal with the use of your skills in UI UX in the promotion and preservation of endangered languages in Mindanao. Actually, right now we have 6 endangered languages diri sa Mindanao. In the Philippines, we have 45 endangered languages. So if you could be able to, through your technology enhanced promotion and technology enhanced project, how are you be able to promote and preserve these endangered languages? So, kana siya.
Yes po, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so one na siya. May one topic. Sige daw, next daw.
Okay, our next topic is exploring neural network approaches in automatic personality recognition of Filipino Twitter users. Okay, the problem statement is utilizing Filipino.
Okay, wait lang. Ayaw na niya siya.
Okay.
Nanay nagabuhat ani. Sige. Next daw ta. Enhancing personalization. Sige.
Hello.
Sige, proceed.
Okay. So, enhancing user experience through customization of UI design. The problem with this study is, in non-game web applications, one of the problems in UI interface design is that not all users will perceive the UI as easy to use. If the users are unable to perceive the UI as easy to use, problems in user experience may arise. This is especially so for users using web applications for cloud-based chat and collaboration web services. So, ang solution or methodology is 50 students studying in Singapore aged between 18 and 23 years were invited to participate in a questionnaire and interview about the UI design of Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive. One of the 50 questionnaires circulated, 39 responses were received. Of these 39 respondents, 17 were interviewed. The interviews were conducted while the respondents used each of the 3 interfaces to complete 2 tasks: to share files with 3 peers and to communicate with at least 1 peer via the interface in their respective mobile apps. All interviewees have accounts in the 3 applications. The interviews were intended to analyze the usability of the sites in the terms of controllability and efficiency. Wow. So the results of the use of the solution na identify, approximately 70% of respondents use file sharing and cloud storage services at least once a month. 47 use cloud computing for file access and sharing with peers, while only 25.5% used it for team collaboration during projects. 78% found Google Drive most effective for such tasks. 22% cited Dropbox, but none found OneDrive to be as effective. During the interview session, all participants were able to complete both tasks, sharing of files with 3 peers and communicating with at least 1 peer via the interface. So in less than 3 minutes for Google Drive and Dropbox with minimal mistakes, but on average spend about 5 minutes for OneDrive, with multiple instances of trial and error. Of the 17 students interviewed, 11 of them, or 64.7%, felt most in control whilst using Google Drive. And the reasons most commonly cited were that of having used is for a long time. 6 students, 35.3%, felt most in. Scroll down ko. So the gaps that were identified is more studies on how customizability of the Google Drive interface and might enhance user performance in Singapore schools could be carried out. The implications this might have on education can also be explored. That's all.
Okay, so medyo connected siya atong sa previous one, no? Na how would you integrate a good user experience, good user interface for a specific problem domain. So like say, for example, kani siya, ang ilang study is really to look for what makes this a specific file storage application better compared to one and the other one. So may ana siya na study. So ang moto kong masuggest, connected gihapon siya sa kato akong gisuggest una na how would you design a good technology enhanced portal maybe that could help in the promotion. Okay, so there is really dapat na-adjust na siya emphasis on the promotion. So pag may magutag promotion, na-adjust na siya natay metric on how are we going to measure nga nag-increase gyud ang knowledge sa mga tao in terms of their know-how on a certain endangered language. So for example, as an example before na ako'y advise a group of students nga ang ilang is the promotion of different festivals here in Mindanao. So the first thing that they did is that they conducted a pretest. Okay, so nag-conduct sila, nag-submit sila pretest, nagpa-pretest sila sa mga random. So nag-sampling sila, so kung ang target population ninyo is dapat globally ma-recognize or ma-known ang mga Mindanao festivals. So ang target population nimo is dako kayo, no? So i-specify gyud nimo kinsa man ang gusto nimo na ma-promotan or kinsa man ang gusto nimo na makabalo about ani na specific domain or sa ilahang case kay katong mga festivities. So nagpa-pretest sila. So na sila yung mga tester na although okay ganito kay nisugot lang pud ang statistician nga like at least duha from international user testers. So nangita na sila mga kailan nila nga taga-gawas and then from Luzon, from Visayas and then from Mindanao. Di pa pretest nila. So kabalo ba sila about ani na festival? Kabalo ba sila about ani na festival? And so on. So nagpa-pretest sila. And then after that, after nila nag-develop sa ilahang katong katong page, pero dili to siya as in static lang siya na website, no, murag siya game app or game web app about festival. So like na murag daw ka tourist ka tapos niadto ka ni na lugar anya na ay mga nagsayaw-sayaw dira anya makig-istorya ka sa katong vendors anya mana ka na murag na mangutana tong tourist sa vendor tapos si vendor na siya mga specific na tubag. And then game siya so kay game man siya na siya kanang reward system, na siya point system kanang may So the goal is that kung ang goal nato is promotion, dapat natay metric on how to test nga na-promote bid nimo ang isa ka application. So that's one thing, you do pre-test and post-test. So pre-test tapos nada yung ka-intervention, so i-market nimo ang imuhang web app, and then post-test i-test na pud nimo to usab katong nag-pre-test sa imong kwan. So kung nag-increase ba ang ilahang knowledge about the endangered language kung sa inyong case. So that's one way of measuring it. Another way of measuring it is dili siya evaluation metric, but to measure the usage of your application, mag-integrate ka og analytics sa imong buhaton. So kanang may so something na connected ni siya. So ang research question nato ani is will an enhanced or a design enhanced technology be able to help in the promotion and the preservation of the Mindanao endangered languages? So that's a parang good question na siya. Okay? So at least ang inyong mga gipakita ng mga related na mga studies kay medyo focus sa ato. Na last daw. Ay last na ba ni? Last na, no? Okay.
Meron pa isa, ma'am.
Sige lang. Same gihapon, no?
Same po.
Okay, so same, medyo So focus mo on the UI and UX design.
Yes.
Okay. So kana lang siya. I think it would be nice. Okay siya na mag-focus mo on the tapos ang ano ninyo so nana mo objective promotion and preservation of endangered languages. So you study more about what are those endangered languages and how will you be able to promote and preserve that one. Sa promotion, dali lang siya kay marketing. So murag what are the marketing strategies na inyong buhaton and so on and so forth. Ang preservation ang pangutana din ha. How are you going to develop a technology that will help in the preservation of these languages? So when we say preservation is that bisan pag mawala ning mga speakers ani nga endangered languages kay when we say endangered ng isa ka language, ibig sabihin less than 1,000 na lang ang speakers ani na language. Okay? So diri sa Mindanao, ang mga endangered languages is kanang Kalagan, which is gina-speak siya sa mga taga-Samal, Manobo, that's an endangered language, Mansaka, Butuanon, sa paganito ha, kalimut ko sa duha. Pero kana sila mga endangered languages na siya. So how do we preserve this one? So pwede mo nga naamoy ibutang na components sa inyong buhaton nga na app wherein pwede mo makipag-interact with the native speaker. And then gamiton ninyo through your application makagather mo og data from that specific na language. So when we say preservation, it's like kaya na to makapture ni siya ng mga languages. Kani yung mga data about that language kay makuha ninyo. Okay, so pwede siya na siguro interaction with the speakers. So ano siya, isipon ninyo na siya. So the keywords are promotion and preservation, okay, through your design enhanced technology or application na inyong buhaton. Okay, so the group of Villa Flores, so you can magsabot mo sa inyong grupo unsaon ninyo na siya. You dig deeper about the topic, about the endangered languages, and then the design, about UI UX design, and then you try to look for related studies. So pag related studies, it's unlimited, so dili ko mag-require og number of related studies, but the more na related studies ninyo makita, the better ang inyong output ana kadaghan mo kanang pwede makumparahan god. So you look for related studies, you review related works about that, and then at least kana siya makafocus na mo ato. So you talk among your team. Okay? Sige. Let's have next Montaner and Coronado.
Ay, ma'am, kami na lang po. Ma'am.
Okay. Sila sige. Sige, the group of Bandong, Pisaw, and Roble.
Yes po, ma'am. Ay, wait lang po, mama. Kita. Ayan. So, good afternoon, ma'am. Today we will be presenting the papers that we have gathered from yesterday. So the first one is Mr. Bandong. You tell about this paper.
So, good afternoon, ma'am. Our first paper is based on the procrastinating behavior in computer-based learning environments to predict performance of the students. So, case study used using the Moodle learning management system. So problem statement is the research about the student performance has traditionally considered academic procrastination as a behavior that has negative effect on academic achievement. Although there is much evidence for this is in class-based environment, there is a lack of research on computer-based learning environment. So there are lots of research already that has measured the negative effect of procrastination to predict the performance of the student in class-based environment. So they created a computer-based learning environment to and measure it the negative effect of procrastination. So the methodology that they have used is they gathered 140 undergraduate students to participate in blended learning experiences in Moodle. So relevant interaction variables were selected for study to taking into account student achievement and analyzing data by means of association rules. So mining technique na they used. The association rules were arrived at and filtered through two selection criteria. One, rules must have an accuracy over 0.8 and 2, and they must be present in both subsamples. So the results were the findings of the study highlight the influence of time management in online learning environments, particularly on academic achievement, as there is an association between procrastination variables and student performance. So the gap is negative impact of procrastination in learning outcomes has been observed again, but in virtual learning environments, where practical implications, prevention of and intervention in are different from class-based learning. These aspects are discussed to help resolve student difficulties at various ages. So, ang gap nila is wala pa yung comparison sa negative effects sa procrastination in class-based environment and the computer-based learning environment. So, that will be our first paper.
Wait lang. No comment. Wait lang ha. Sama ni siya ha. Okay siya, pero murag ano lang siya. Murag, if you're aiming for a topic for your capstone, this is not a good capstone topic. Pang term paper lang niya siya. Gusto ninyo siya magbuhat og ingano. So, may ingani na type of ano ha. Pero like behavior like associating behavior of academic performance towards academic performance. Kung tanawon mag-search lang ka na sa Google, i-type niyo muna siya na keyword association of behavior, negative behaviors to academic performance. Daghan kay kag makita na ana. So it's like, what would be the right research question for this one? Unsa man ang ato ang gusto mahibalaan. Kay kabalo naman gid ta na kung negative behavior mag-result gid siya og negative academic performance. Murag ang ana. So no need for us murag ano na siya ba, common sense na gid siya. Ang nagkanindot lang pag mag-research ta about ani is that ma-quantify gid nato siya. So there is really a scientific way for us to explain it. Pero if we wanted to pursue it as a capstone project, we need to answer a better research question for this one. So no siya for this research type of work. Sige daw, next daw.
Next time me. So our next paper is multimedia literacy practices in beginning classrooms and at home. So the problem statement is the research was aimed to find out what teachers of 5 years old in their first 6 months of compulsory schooling think about the children's literacy practices at home, including the perceived use of digital media at home. We also wanted to find out the teachers did in their classrooms that was similar or different to the students' experiences of literacy practices across several media. So methodology, the teacher survey asked for their beliefs about the literacy-related experiences the children in their classrooms engage in on average, including the use of digital media. So the result of the research, this paper describes the teachers' beliefs and the similarities and differences in practices between home and school, including literacy practices using digital technology. So the gaps is limited to 5-year-old students. So basically, the research is comparing how the students' average consumption of digital media and comparing it to the on how the teachers approach on how they teach in the school, so to create a more efficient way of learning. So bali mag-adjust sila sa how the students consume digital media, ma'am.
Um, so, murag, saan na siya tawag na to, Hana? So basically, murag makasyon ta based sa ilahang classroom engagement, including the use of digital. Murag, the students or children that are less engaged in different learning or in multimedia. So like say for example, dili kay sila nagagamit og phones or wala kayo sila interaction sa mga kanang digital materials. Like unsa wala ko kasabot sa goal ni.
So pala ang himo lang tanan mo, ma'am, kay since limited to 5-year-old students and unsa man po ta virtual learning ta, ma'am. So pag-gather data na sa college students, ma'am, on the how they consume the digital or virtual learning or the digital media. So bali kung for example hilig mostly sa mga lalaki na students hilig magdula, so why gamiton to maghimo og most game based na mga application for learning magana, ma'am.
Tapos
What to siya, ma'am?
like murag ano na magud na siya, no need na siya no need na nato na siya studyhan. It's because you just search the web and you will find literatures that will tell you that game-based learning are actually a good learning platform, or like it will really enhance or it will really increase the learning curve of students, especially those that are in this type of ages. Okay, so murag ano na siya, dili na siya kailangan nimo siya i-research kay magbasa lang ka sa magbasa lang makita lang ka sa web. Daghan kay kag pwede ma-cite na literature ana. Kung like ang goal nimo ani na research is to develop a game-based type of learning platform, dili na nimo na siya kailangan i-research. So what we are trying to look for is unsa man jud ang ginapangita nato na problem. Unsa nato ang ginapangita na problem ani. So sige daw, next daw. So knowing niyo siya na topic.
Good afternoon again, ma'am. So for the next topic is upflow, using machine learning to synthesize robust reusable UI tests. So the problem is this paper talks about the difficulty of UI testing, especially as today's development cycles become faster since UI testing is tedious, costly, and error-prone. So the solution or the methodology that they have used is a system for synthesizing highly robust, highly reusable UI tests. It enables developers, especially those in the testing services company, so to write a library of modular UI tests for the main functionality of a given category of apps. This library may be shared, open source, or stored within a testing cloud service, such as Google's Firebase Test Lab. Then, when developers want to test a new app in the same category, they can quickly synthesize full tests from the modular ones in the library with a few lines of customization, greatly boosting productivity. So the results show the app flow accurately recognizes screen and widgets, synthesizes highly robust and usable tests, covers 46.6% of all automatable tests for Jack threads with the test it synthesizes, and reduces the of te- effort to test a new app by up to 90%. It also found 8 bugs in the evaluated apps which were publicly released and should have been thoroughly tested. 7 of these are functionality bugs. So for GATS, app flows currently only supports for Android platform. It is straightforward to use its ideas to test iOS apps. The ideas also apply to other UI testing environment, including web and desktop application. Unlike mobile apps, web desktop application tend to have more complex UI, so recognizing UI elements may be harder and leave for the future work.
So gina-imagine ako siya nga nagahatag siya og kanang score sa every UI element nga naa sa isa ka sa application, no? So kung like pero I think na siya na ay kung ano ba kung web app na siya na ay si tawag na to ani ha na ay Chrome extension light something sa tawag na to ha um, Chrome extension to test UI elements in web applications. L2 nag-start. Something L. So, ito siya ha. Basta daghan na siya og kuan na daghan na og i-search lang ninyo daghan na og kanang mga extensions about this one. So my next question is that how do you think would be okay sure ko na mo naisip na murag gusto ninyo buhaton ani how do you think your application or your proposal would be different from the existing one? Unsay nasagutan ninyo na okay murag nindot ni siya na direction. So unsay murag initially nasabutan ninyo na feature sa inyo ang i-propose na topic?
Actually ma'am kay nagkuha pa lang jud mi ani ma'am, then like karon ka nang amo sang gipresent tapos wa pa jud mi nagturo na kung unsa gud jud amo ma'am. So baliwala pa jud namo siya nastoryaan, pero once na maka ano na pod mi ma'am kay amo apod siyang ikuan.
Lighthouse dito. Lighthouse. Wait mo ha. Check mo. Kaya lang ha. Nagsisaw ka dali ha ka. Okay, so kato siya. It's actually a good it's actually a good capstone project kung ma-specify ninyo murag ano siya
Kanang
murag testing platform siya no for UI elements, pero I don't know lang kung uh, siguro kailangan lang pa ninyo mag-thorough review. Although para sa ko okay ang idea nga mag-propose mo og isa ka platform wherein uh, focus siya sa UI UX, tapos ano siya, and then dili lang po sure sa mga existing, so siguro more ano lang kung gusto ninyo mag-focus ani review of related literature lang or review of related works, mga existing apps nga naa karon, and then unsa ang inyong i-try og unsa na mga gaps ang inyong i-try og address.
okay po, ma'am.
Others pa daw na inyong na-identify.
The next one is a mobile application to support fatigue communication in the hybrid space. So, for the problem statement, this paper talks about an application that offers a cross-platform interaction method between unsocial community and mobile users. It provides a novel interface that supports practice of beeping, a communication method of calling somebody and hanging up before the call is answered. For the solution and methodology, the application in this paper makes use of the given platform capabilities in order to a user-friendly map interface by utilizing the acceleration sensors of the iPhone excuse me, together with OpenGL rendering, they're able to create a 3D map environment which the user can control by tilting the device and using the touch interface that visualizes best the idea of transmitting a virtual push on a friend's avatar into a physical push to him, the real world to give him halo. The result, this application was developed to support user-driven social interaction and to help us understand under what circumstances people will use such new ways of communication. We transferred the recently observed beeping phenomenon among mobile users and designed a mobile phone application that explicitly provides the beeping feature with an enhanced user interface and enrich it with traditional social network functionality, profile information, and location of contacts from one's personal social network. Thus, the application brings the social networking phenomenon from online communities to the real world. So the gap for the next step should be analyze users' beeping behavior. It can track the time and frequency of beeping transactions and investigate potential correlation with specific user profile information such as gender, age, education, level of cultural background.
Okay, so unsa yung naisip na ani? Unsa yung naisip na buhaton related ani na work? Like nga nung nagka-interest man ang group ani?
Ay kuan ma'am kanang murag sa communication interaction man between sa social community o sa mobile users.
Tapos
Wala jud nagkuan ni man kanang nangita ra mi so far og kanang bali
mo ganito, like, di ba, kung saan something that would interest the team. So, nagka-interest man mo ani na study. So, basically, murag na ay something ani na study na nagganahan mo or nga nung nagka-interest mo. Okay, so, murag, nana mo idea na, ay, murag nindot lagi ni siya na study, murag na, nindot na naatay yung ani na buhaton. So, unsa ang nakuan sa group? Anong gibutang ninyo ni siya na study di ari?
Ay kay since relevant man siya sa today's ma'am. Kay seldom lang man magkita ang mga mga friends karon, so magagamit ng empathic communication, ma'am, since mostly
Passive,
using
passive
mostly
communication. Nasa gid yung passive communication?
very mga unsa ma'am, mga general purpose lang gud ma'am, social interactions po.
So, ah ang problem nila is supports practice of beeping, communication method of calling somebody and hanging up before. Okay, nakasabot. So basically, murag ano niya is enhancing better passive communication.
Yes po, ma'am. So instead na beep, ma'am, but depende sa ano ma'am.
Makita ninyo.
Yes.
Okay. Enhancing, I think, dili lang na ako kayo maano diri no. Kung unsa niya hang wala man gud siya, wala kayo ninyo gibutang din kung unsa di ay ang existing problem karon in terms of verbal and non-verbal communication. In terms of verbal and non-verbal communication. Verbal and non-verbal communication. Sige, murag na ko naisipan eh. Sige, next daw. Okay. When in terms of kung we'll say if we cater the word fatigue communication. Okay, so that like the our problem statement would be enhancing fatigue communication. Okay, sige. Take notes na ako na siya. Pero sige daw, last na ba ni? Last.
Napay last isa ma'am.
Sige daw, ang isa daw.
Visage, a user interface environment for exploring information. So for the problem, this paper talks about the user interface for exploring and analyzing information. It represents an approach for coordinating multiple visualizations and analysis and presentation tools in data intensive domains. So it is based on an information-centric approach to user interface design, which strives to eliminate impediments to direct user access to information objects across application and visualization. So for solution and methodology, it enables information to be selected and combined from multiple application interfaces, visualization, and analysis tools. It must enable rapid generation of visualizations to integrate information from these diverse sources. The value of integrative visualizations is obvious, however, because the combination of information that people will create are often unpredictable. It is possible for software developers to create every visualization in advance. Therefore, an effective workspace must provide tools by which users can create a new visualizations as needed without great effort or skill. Consistent user interface techniques are needed by which people can filter, control level of detail, navigate, and create new information wherever it is displayed. An effective environment should make it easy for people to share and communicate their results in collaborative settings where they must iterate between analysis and presentation activities frequently. For the result, it provides users with greater direct contact with objects that represent information they need to view and manipulate to perform their work. Integrating the two systems combines strengths of usage information-centric manipulation operation with Sage graphic repertoire. We have also successfully added script to Sage visualization to perform special data manipulation operation and user interface functions for application. This appears to be a promising combination of visualization, creation technology, and user interface development tools. A parallel research and development effort is continuing to incorporate new design knowledge to for creating 3D animation and other visualization techniques in SAFE, especially for large data sets. As the needs are added to SAFE, we will explore the implication of applying current operation with the research environment to these new techniques.
Okay. So visualization, effective visualization. So kani siya is for effective visualization. Among all the topics, mas nagka-interest ko sa in terms of verbal and non-verbal communication.
Sa fatigue, ma'am.
Yes, fatigue communication. Dili lang, na ako rin naisip na pwede teaching fatigue communication. Wait lang ha. Okay, sa ganitong una na ako giano sa inyo ha. So aside, sige, medyo na ay something na ay murag na ay chance is kani siya katong enhancing fatigue communication tapos kaning effective visualization. Ang sige itong isa, napo ba ko isa nga na-mention sa inyo ha?
Giingon ma'am is kaning fatigue po.
Kanilang fatigue, no? Fatigue ug effective visualization. Nasa man na siya. Sige, ano na lang siguro. Maybe you can focus, wala kaayo ko sa tanan ninyo nagikuan, wala kayo siya yung medyo acceptable. Siguro kulang ang medyo kulang ang pagka wala ko yung maisip na problem space na pwede siya ma-applyan sa karon ha. So maybe that the team could focus on these two, katong enhancing fatigue communication and then kaning effective visualization. Mangita mo problem space or problem domain where you could apply or not really apply pero or mangita mo problem statement that is worth working on. Okay, that is related to enhancing fatigue communication and effective visualization. Okay?
Okay po, ma'am. Okay po.
Sige.
Thank you po.
Okay, sige. Next group. Let's have Nana si Montaner and Coronado. Okay.
Ano ma'am? Makita?
Yes, makita. Pwede medyo i-zoom. Zoom in. Zoom in pag ayan.
Okay ma'am.
Okay, okay na.
First, fruit detection system using deep so problem agriculture industry, especially horticulture, is one of the most cost demanding factors in the industry. This due to the rising values of supply such as power, water, irrigation, agrochemicals, and so on. This driving farm enterprise and horticultural industry to be under pressure with small profit margins. Under these challenges, food production still needs to meet growing demand of an growing world population, and this has critical problem to come. Robotic harvesting can provide potential solution to this problem by reducing the cost of labor, longer endurance, and high repeatability and increased fruit quality. So, solution, um, fruit segmentation and essential step in order to distinguish the fruits from the background, leaves, and stems. This task is challenging due to variation of fruit color, illumination, as well as high-level exclusion in prior work. We demonstrated that using of CRF to model color and visual texture sharing of from neutral spectral image led to the impressive performance of 4 sweet, sweet pepper segmentation. The multispectral image contain both color RGB and near infrared and IR information. The CRF using both color and feature the color feature are constructed by directly converting the RGB values to HSB color space. Visual texture feature extracted from NIR channel NIR image are used to calculate texture features as they were found to be more consistent than color imagery. The result is qualitatively and quantitatively evaluate purpose method on 5 experiment settings. Compared to early and late fusion performance, um, evaluate the performance between the base algorithm, CRF, and proposed method. Inspect the performance of RPM, exam generation post method by performing partial independent condition experiments. Evaluate the sensibility of the proposed approach by applying into several other fruits. Prior to presenting the experimental result, we mentioned the creation of the ground truth of the dataset. GAPS is the deep neural network can reasonably handle some variation in scale due its deep convolutional layers. More specifically, the BGG net consists of 13 convolutional operation, 3 by 3 kernels, 5 max pooling layers, 2 by 2 kernels, and 3 fully connected operation. However, its object size in testing image is significantly less than that of training set. It missed the detection. So, empirically, we have witnessed the purpose detector can handle around 50% scale down object detection in order to overcome show high quality and more training image set covering multiple scale level required. They only used 43 training images of avocado and 11 for testing as presented in table 5 routing counting as one of future works. Tama.
Okay ang kaniingani na type of study, kaya lang asa na siya ha? Okay, first question is, nabo mo naisip na fruit? Ang medyo karon ang good way or direction of computer vision, agricultural related studies or fruit related studies kay on identifying deficiencies no in different fruits. So I would not really suggest that you go for this one, except na lang if na-enjoy certain fruit na diri sa region. I would suggest na mangita mo diri sa region. Cacao, ayaw na siyang cacao kay nanay nag-ano na, nag-study na. If isa ka, ano siya, significant reason for you to really go for this kind of study, significant problem, anong kailangan ninyo mag-go for the study, okay ni siya. Okay, pero sa karon, kung namoy maingon sa kuan na specific problem statement, so like, katong sa mga nag-study of cacao, unsa ang mga dili nila kay nanang existing study karon nga ma-detect nila ang mga defects sa cacao. So instead of manually inspecting it, so mga ilangan kag tao in the inspection of cacao defects, automatic na si computer vision application nimo maka-detect siya sa defects. So unsa ang pwede nato ma-enhance sa katong nga existing study about that one? Or the other question na pwede nimo or pangitaon nimo para maka-start ka sa RL is unsa na fruit or unsa na mga products, Mindanao products na mangailangan og ingani nga type of application. Coffee na siya, rice na siya, cacao na siya, what else? Wala na akong maisip na agricultural product. Mango na siya, tobacco na siya. As in halos na agricultural products na nag-study ana. So I don't know what would be something that would be say knowledge contribution sa inyong study if you will proceed with this one. Pero yeah, okay ang mga ingani na type of study. Naaman gihapon siya sa research agenda nato, pero kato lang, nalay mga other questions pa na kailangan ninyo matubag. Okay? Especially the problem statement. Nganong gusto nimo ni siya buhaton? Okay, so how is it different from the existing ones? Okay, para sa kuan medyo dili naman good kaayo siya impactful kay daghan na kay nagabuhat ani. And I don't know. Maybe if you're going to focus on the into commercialization of this type of application. So kanang i-appeal niyo sa inyong goal na dapat ma-commercialize gid siya. Maybe I would go for that one. So murag sa inyong ang direction ninyo is how would you ang research question ninyo is how would you better commercialize this type of products? Kay honestly daghan kayo mga students nga naga-propose og mga ingani, daghan kayo mga researchers, pero dili sila mulampas into the commercialization na part or kanang absorption sa industry. So kung namoy makita na industry or isa ka company that is willing to partner with you or willing na mugamit ani na application ninyo hang ma-produce or ma-develop sa CV, and then this is good to go. Okay ni siya na type of research. Pero if wala, I doubt that this will really have an impact. Okay? So sige daw, next daw.
Next is efficient convolutional neural network for mobile vision application. So problem, neural networks can have become ubiquitous in computer vision. Ever use AlexNet, popularized deep convolutional neural networks by winning the ImageNet challenge. The general trend has been make deeper and more complicated networks in order to achieve high accuracy. However, these advances to improve accuracy are not necessarily making the networks more efficient and respect to size and speed. In many real-world applications such as robotics, self-driving car, augmented reality, and recognition tasks need to be carried out in timely fashion on computationally limited platform. Solution propose a model
Okay, so sige. I think gets na nako kung saan inyo ang gusto na na track, which is something related to computer vision. I would suggest, so nako good suggestion para sa inyo ha. This is something for the healthcare technology. How about you try to focus on kay currently bang good the ComSci group karon natay ang mga ComSci third year students are working on a conversational agent for heart related illnesses. And then naaman guy mga symptoms sa heart disease that is manifested through the skin or makita nimo siya sa skin na mga symptoms. Okay? So right now, since conversational agent lang siya or text-based siya or chatbot siya, wala siya way na ma-verify kung unsa ang intensity or degree of intensity sa katong mga symptoms that is manifested sa skin. So, if you could create a CV or computer vision based technology or application that is able to grade or to give an intensity of how much ang degree nga naa siya'y heart related illness based sa picture nga makita niya sa iyang skin. But if not heart disease, you can go for another diseases. Ayaw lang ang skin cancer, kaya nanay nagabuhat na sa skin cancer. Pero any illnesses na mag-manifest sa face ang mga symptoms or sa skin. So like say, example lang o ganina, itong heart disease, na mag mga symptoms nga direct nga pag mugawas ni siya na symptoms sa skin, ibig sabihin na prone ka to having a heart disease illness. So, ang current na ginabuhat nila karon sa mga ComSci student is text-based lamang gud siya. So, ginapangutanan nila in Bisaya kung naaba kay ani na symptom. So, what if ang inyuha is instead na pangutanon ninyo ang user, you will ask the user or the patient, potential patient na to upload a picture of their skin, and then you will be able to identify the intensity of the like say skin color. Kay mag heart disease man gud siya pag naay ingani nga skin color na siya. So prone to subject na siya, so pag na siya heart disease ba pag ingani ang skin color niya. So we will ask the patient to upload picture of its skin, tapos kung naga-blue na siya, tagaan niyo siya score kung unsa na siya ka-prone to heart disease related problem. So okay ni siya. I would agree na ang inyong focus is on computer vision na part, and I could really find na expert for this one, kay na kanang mga expert nga nagbuhat na og computer vision for especially sa skin diseases. So nakoy kailaan na for skin diseases. So maybe Montana and Coronado, you study more about different unsa na disease ang inyong i-focus na something related sa computer vision. Okay? So, kay murag nakita na ko based sa duha ka studies ninyong gikuan, murag mao ni ang inyong gusto na pass, like the computer vision na part. So kung murag dito siguro ang inyong focus. Okay? Okay ni siya, kani siya mga ano man ni siya like mugamit mo atong sana siya unit. Okay, pwede na siya i-compare sa karon sa technical writing, kay dili pa man ta mag-capstone, no? Sa technical writing pwede ninyo na mga experiments ani is compare different computer vision algorithms like unit, VGG, kato, yung mga lahi-lahi na mga algorithms. Tapos i-test ninyo kinsa ang mas accurate. Pero ang ginapangita nako diri is unsa na problem space ang inyong i-focus on. So okay to siyang sa Komsay Manggod kay heart disease sila, sa heart disease, and then nganong heart disease is because it's the number 1 cause of death diri sa Philippines. So maybe if you could find another disease na medyo medyo common siya diri sa Mindanao, or something na pwede nato siya ma-capture through images, pwede mo dira mag-focus. Okay? So nagets pa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sige. So okay, so you do more related review of related literature. Pagsabot mong duha kung unsa na the first thing that you need to do is to really identify unsa na specific illness ang inyong i-focus. Okay? So unsa na specific illness. Pwede pud siya na kung dili mo gusto sa healthcare na side, sa education na side, educational technology is pwede pod na nakaka 2D image, so mag-upload siya picture, tapos object detection lang mo. So like, pero kanang sa mga, parehas akong gisuggest ganina is MTBMLE materials. Pero sa ilaha ganina is from 2D mo nilang 3D object. Sa inyo naman is dapat maka-identify mo, given a certain 2D image, maano ninyo siya, malabel ninyo. Like, malabel ninyo ni siya ng mga objects nga naa sa 2D image. And you could focus on katong mga educational materials. So, ang kailangan lang nyo na dataset ani is mga images na ginagamit commonly sa mga educational materials, specifically on MTBMLE books. Okay? And then, using computer vision or using CV techniques, dapat malabel ninyo ni siya ng mga objects. Okay? Kay karon man god ang mga, kung tanaw ninyo na siya, ang mga MTBMLE books na to karon is most of the story books that they have, puros lang gid na siya images, and they will let the students describe the scenario. Or kani siya na page is picture lang siya, then the next page kay dito pa ang explanation. Okay, so maragay nga na siya. So can we create a way that we could automatically label objects in a certain 2D image? Okay, specifically on MTBMLE books. So unsa di ay ang nasa murag ang research question na to ani, what makes it difficult to do image processing or image recognition for this kind of materials, so MTBMLE books. So, kana siya, one good direction po na siya. So, you have two options. You can focus on the healthcare side or you can focus on the educational side. So, pero mas tagan ako more weight. Like kung ako ang mag-choose ato, mas tagan ako more weight ang katong sa educational side. Okay, so para lang siya na ma-connect lang ninyo ang inyong and then ang inyong pong specialization kay educational technology. Okay? Sige. Let's have next the group of Alemania. Camille?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wait lang ha, i-note lang to na ako. So, that is computer vision for healthcare or educational technology. Healthcare or educational technology. So again, you do a thorough review of related literature sa katong masabutan ninyo na unsa inyo ang gusto i-focus. Okay? Next, sige Camille. Camille, you can start now.
Maklaro ba akong screen, ma'am?
Yes. Kinsa gani ang group members ani?
Gumera ma'am o Colomer. Si Gumera o Colomer ma'am kay hinay daw ilahang internet. So ako lang sa ang magkuan karon mo take over.
Okay. Sige.
So for the first topic, a user interface or UI and user experience evaluation framework for cyber learning environments in computer science and software engineering education. So our topic is all about UI and UX. The problem stated, there are relatively few empirical studies that provide a comprehensive test of the usefulness of cyber learning in education. So ang problem is about sa katong cyber learning education, like inline siya sa computer science and engineering courses through testing its usability and measuring its utility using user interface and user experience evaluations. So solution to help illustrate the framework utility and usability evaluations, we explain them through an example SEP style or software engineering and programming cyber learning environment. The evaluation techniques used are cognitive walkthroughs with a think aloud protocol and a heuristic evaluation survey. So for the results, we discovered areas of improvement in the visibility and navigation of set style current design. Then for the gaps, we provide our recommendations for improving step style and provide guidance and possible directions for future research on designing cyber learning environments for computer education. So, ano siya mong first topic, ma'am?
Wait lang, ginabasa na ko ang kanina no. Sige daw, proceed lang sa mga other topics.
For the next topic is all about collaborative learning, increasing students' engagement outside the classroom. So for the problem stated, challenges that academics have resulted in curriculum reform and most importantly in innovative practices in which the curriculum is delivered and assessed. This article addresses the extent to which collaborative learning outside the classroom contributes to the enhancement of student learning, and it examines the obstacle encountered by the student during the semester. So the solution, students need to see the intrinsic value of learning with others. From the outset, students need to understand that collaborative work requires time, effort, and self-management. They need to take responsibility for their own learning, which involves agreeing to take on different roles as part of the collaborative learning and planning and managing the group work from the start. So for the results, for the solution, for the results from this study, it appears that it has a strong correlation between a higher number of respondents reporting positive attitudes to collaborative work and perceiving the relevance of assessment. So for the gaps, students need to see the value learning with collaboration, like requires a lot of time and effort and self-management. That's it, ma'am.
Okay, sige pa dayon lang sa ano.
The next, ma'am, is multimedia teaching and learning for computer network subject in the direct problem-based learning approach, a pilot study. So topic is technology for teaching and learning. The problem statement, it impacts of multimedia teaching and learning for computer network subject in the direct problem-based learning. approach especially impacts on the students' attitude, students' interest, students' creative thinking, and students' teamwork skills. And the solution is third year students who took computer network subject from the informatics engineering department in Dian, Nuswan Troy University in Indonesia, and one computer networks lecturer in the sample class participated in this pilot study. So the result, it appears that the pilot study shows that the most of the students agreed that the MDPBL instruction in the classroom instruction in the classroom. Next is Collaborate to Learn, a case study of technology enhanced collaborative language learning. The topic is collaborative learning pa rin. So the problem statement is the notion of collaborative learning, the relationship between technology and collaboration, and the integration of technology into collaborative language learning. So the solution, participants from a range of students in a variety of majors at the University of Tasmania were invited to participate in a questionnaire to present their views on this style of learning and their perception of technology-enhanced language learning. So the result is, ano pa lang, ano? The result is, results of the questionnaire revealed that the majority of all respondents were aged between 19 to 30 years old, then 80%, and female students 60% were 20% more than male, 40%. All of them are doing undergraduate study, more than half are first year students. Then 51.2%, and the second largest group is the second year. The educational specialization of this student is mainly arts, 52.3, and the second major of the study is others, such as commerce and education, and also 15% of the participants are undertaking study of combined degrees such as computing arts or arts law. Results also indicate that students were also interested in the internet and the various audio-visual aids and software available. So the gap, future developments in network communication, multimedia, and artificial intelligence will likely converge, creating a potentially more central role for the computer as a tool for authentic language exploration and use in the second language classroom. Then last one, the effectiveness of internet-based e-learning on clinician behavior and patient outcomes, a systematic review protocol, so mobile or web-based learning.
Okay, wait lang Camila. So medyo nagets na ako ang inyong gusto buhaton. It's nice. Okay man ang collaborative if you are going to focus on collaborative learning in a virtual environment, I think I would suggest that you would focus on katong sa mother tongue based multilingual education or MTBMLE. Okay, so kay MTBMLE. So it's a mother tongue based multilingual education. Specifically, you can focus on Sinubuanong Bisaya.
Sinubuanong Binisaya.
Sinubuanong Binisaya. Okay, so you can focus on that one. Okay, so the keywords here would be collaborative learning in an online environment for students under the mother tongue based multilingual education for Sinubuanong Binisaya. Ingana siya. Okay, so pangitaan ang problem statement na to ninyo ana is currently ang ginagamit nila so ang ano nito ana is that there makita mo literature that will really say that collaborative learning, okay, so number one, collaborative learning in a virtual environment, especially kung medyo competitive siya. Like, there is a competition. So, like say, for example, katong sa last subject na to, no, sa learning frameworks, na pag naa siya yung mga ingani na mga i-apply na mga principles like the reward system, the punishment system, the mga ingana siya na i-incorporate niyo na element. This will encourage students or children to really learn on something that is collaborative, that is interactive, and so on and so forth. So, kana siya. So, pwede ninyo siya i-focus dito. And why MTBMLE? It's because as of right now, ang naalang sa ilahan available is through books siya. So, there are chances na mabore ang mga bata kay magtanaw lang sila sa mga materials. So if your team could make an interactive and collaborative way of learning MTBMLE or mother tongue based multilingual education subjects, then would be better. Okay, so maybe you could focus on that one.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, and for technical writing, siguro ang experiments na buhaton ninyo ani kay or ang results na pwede ninyo mapakita ani kay it's ano siya ha? Pwede siguro ninyo pwede mo maka-design or pwede mo maka-present o design as a part of your results and discussion. So, tanawin ninyo tanan materials from kinder to I think grade 6 man ata na available na materials sa mga storybooks for Sinigbuan ng Binsaya. Tanawin niyo na siya ng mga materials from kinder to grade 6, and then you try to make a design model that you think your team could design, that your team could actually identify na kani ang good design collaborative environment for this kind of materials. Okay, so for technical writing, muna siyang kailangan ako. It's like a model or a design of what would be a better collaborative interactive learning mechanism for an online environment for this type of students that is under sa kanila na mga subject. Okay, so kana siya na mga question. Kana ang inyo i-focus for the technical writing. Okay? Nabay question, ang team?
So far, ma'am, wala pa man.
Okay, sige. So, Gumera and Columer and Camille, dito mo you try to look for, you dig deeper into that. Unsa na mga engine ang pwede ninyo gamiton to really create a collaborative interactive environment, learning environment for an online setup. Tapos istadihan ninyo kay lahi magud na ang mga learning materials sa mga college students, lahi pud ang learning materials sa mga bata. So unsa ang difference sa design ninyo pag kanina mga type of users ang inyong gina-target. So targeted design siya for a specific learners. Okay? So kana siya. So pangita po mag-literature. Pero so this time you will be focusing on collaborative, interactive, and interactive learning, online learning environment for MTBMLE students or subjects. Okay? Okay.
Next group na or
next group na.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Villamil?
Mic test, ma'am. Tunggan ba, ma'am?
Oo.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. I will be presenting the first topic, so entitled "Effective Use of User Interface and User Experience in Mobile Health Application." So the problem statement is: although advanced health information technologies adapted in health app provide users with useful functionalities for self-management of their health conditions, keeping users engaged with the apps remains to be a challenge that deserves attention from researchers. When it comes to mobile health apps that requires users to input health-related personal data
Ay,
frequently and
excuse me,
repeatedly.
sorry. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Kinsa ka yung kauban? Evangelista,
Um,
Villamil, and...
Delgado, ma'am.
Okay, sige, continue.
The more effort data entry requires, the less likely they are to take the time to interact with the apps. The goal of this study is to make this data entry process as effective as efficient as possible through design manipulation. So, methodology. The researchers used mixed methods consisting of a controlled experiment and a follow-up survey to test the hypothesis. They utilized within subjects designed to statistically remove the variability in data due to differences among users. Thus, each patient was exposed to the four UIs in the experiment and then asked to evaluate each UI in a follow-up survey. The results overall, the study data showed that variation in the UI design in terms of touch technique, tap versus slide and target direction, vertical versus horizontal had significant effects on the task completion time. The UI effect was also influential to user perception regarding UI usability and likability. However, significant interaction effects indicated that the main effects of touch technique and target direction on user perceptions were conditional in the following subsequence. So gaps. The topic only focused on the technique tap versus slide and target direction, vertical versus horizontal. So that's the end of the first topic, ma'am.
Okay, sige, continue lang.
Sa second topic, ma'am.
So basically kanino so nagets ako na ang focus ninyo ani is what would be the effective UI UX design for something like a health related product.
Yes, ma'am.
A complete a task meaning like say profiling example.
Yes, ma'am. Mga yan.
Okay, sige. Next daw.
Jan?
So, hello, manong gan?
Jan.
Madong. So, effect of
Yes,
design
madong.
elements for social media ads on consumers' purchasing decision. So, the problem statement is that social media is continually finding ways to integrate into every aspect of individual life. Its advent has revolutionized the relationship between a firm and a customer given its constant connectivity and accessibility. A core reasons that the marketing dynamics have significantly shifted with the emergence of social networks, which have provided different ways to improve the customer consciousness. Marketing through social networks had created more interactive virtual environment for promoting business and brand recognition. The use of social media networks as a strategic marketing tool is found to impose persuasive influence on customer purchasing decisions. So like yung mga advertisement and promotional videos na simple yet gumagamit ng elegant designs na pinapalabas sa mga ads, ma'am, is one of the big impact na nagakuha sa or like nagaakit sa customers na like makaingon sila, let's try this and that product, let's buy this. Tungod kay sa mga social media ug mga advertisement nila. So the solution and methodology, a descriptive analytical research design is used for examining the attitudes of consumers towards the elements of social media advertising on purchasing behavior of the customer. This research design is selected as it provides logical reasoning behind a certain behavior in an explicit manner. It highlights the actual and existing situation of the concerned phenomena. So like ginapatest nila through advertisement like yung sa YouTube na mga advertisements in which kung unsa ka
Wala, no?
Yes, ma'am. Nawala siya, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes. Yan.
Sorry ma'am, nawala ang net.
Sige, okay lang.
Asa na yung banda sa the results sa Jeff?
Ah,
Okay, so the research on social media marketing has been the focus of attention for various scholars. Similarly, the advertisement on social media marketing serves as an increasing source of revenue for companies. Thereby, the research was carried out by investigating the impact of social media advertising design elements on the purchasing behavior of the customer. The result of online survey showed that the five factors impacted the customer purchasing intention, namely image, design, effect, color, and typography. The model presented showed that the image as an advertising component causes a significant impact on the customer's purchasing intention. So, using a decent amount of design and enhancement of the image quality makes the customer thinks about purchasing the product. So, as for the gap, a more simple and elegant design is needed to capture the eyes of the customers and make them interested in the product. And for that to happen, we also need some good advertisement that could attract the people. So, now to Jeff.
Wait lang ha. Balik ko to dito. Medyo ano siya, pero ang question na ako di Ari is, unsa ang ilang kuan? Like, how, similar dito, social media marketing source and increasing source of growth. Okay, so that's ano no, that's a given nga with the use of advertisements that would really increase potential customers no
Yes, ma'am.
for certain companies. So like how are you going to use effectively use UI UX to help this one? Pero for example, kana sa YouTube God tapos na advertisement what would be the effective way for like say for YouTube na for sure daghan kayo mga users, YouTube users na nag-skip ad. So, murag ang research question murag ang question ani is how would you entice user to not really skip ad? Murag nga na no?
Yes, ma'am. Like, dapat yung video is makaakit talaga sa tao. Like, kinukuha talaga yung attention ng mga tao na i-watch talaga yung full video, ma'am.
Yeah. Sige. Okay. Actually, it's a good question. Pero, okay, so I'm not yet sure, pero di man gud ko familiar kung unsa ang mga ano no, unsa ang mga technique that for sure it has something to do with content marketing no. Pero I'm not sure kung unsa ang possible pa na although good siya, ganahan ko sa tingana na topic, kaya lang unsa pa ang possible na pwede ninyo ma-contribute in that space. Sige daw. Sige, next na lang sa ata.
Itaas pa, Jeff. So for the third studies, a study on understanding of UI UX and understanding of design according to user interface change. The problem statement. UI UX design tends to be looked easily. Therefore, this study attempts to explore UI UX related technologies such as contents, devices, program, HCI or human computer interfaces, and content design in terms of design aspect and content production aspect. So the solution, survey was conducted on selected student, a total of 29 ang ilang respondent na naka-divide into sophomore, junior, and senior high to determine if they have basic understanding of UI UX. And the result of understanding were divided into three groups of excellent, normal, and efficient to find out whether their whether the respondent has knowledge of UI UX. So the result is overall the data said that more or less 20% of the student have excellent understanding of UI UX and 80% of students do not understand UI UX as well. And for the gap, baba Jeff. For the gap, it is recommended to understand the UI UX and design in order to provide an overall experience to the user. So mo to siya sa third problema.
Sige, continue lang sa daw.
Sige sa. For the fourth one, effect of user interface and user experience on application sales. The problem statement. User interface is a link that connects human and computer interaction where user will interact with computers or machine to complete a task. It is stated that the user interface is part of system that acts as an intermediately between user and system that facilitate user to interact with the system efficiently. Having a good system is a system that can handle this complexity. To deal with this complexity, good interaction between the user and the system is needed. When playing games, it is said that the interaction of player affect the psychology of the players. The purpose of the study is to determine how much influence the user interface and user experience have on the sale of the application by observing the editor's note to application and comparing it objectively. This research used a descriptive method. So for the solution, an observation method was used in the study. Observation technique is to see and observe changes in social phenomena that develop. Anthropological method, including observation, have been adopted by educational researchers and other social scientists, mainly through the development of ethnography as an approach to social research. Ethnography means it involved research, participation in events, observing activities, taking notes, and collecting unstructured data to produce reports about situation being studied, maybe at school or university rather than less well-known culture. Pakibaba ko ulit. Jeff. The result, the convenience of a user can affect the sale of an application. One of these convenience can be obtained from the appearance of an application. When we discuss the application appearance, it will relate to the use of icons. In choosing the icons, we need to know the sales target. We must be able to determine and recognize the target marketing application and must know everything related to the business activity that will be carried out. The gap, the effect of appearance of an application is quite large. It is because what the user first sees is the appearance of the application. Then if the application display looks comfortable, then the user will be interested to try it. So unsa pasabot sa icon if nakay product or let us say nakay gina-market na product niya, wala siya kanang branding, wala siya logo, wala siya mga basta kanang plain lang gud siya. Naaya po mo gamit pero dili kay siya patok. Pero let us say katong product but nganto nimo siya og sikat na logo, let us say sa Apple, diskan pagkatong imong product is dili kayo kanang mobulusok gud dayon ang mopalit since nanamay Apple man god. So tanan ato tawagan na kanang mupalit dayon ng tao kay since iPhone lagi daw. Then same po sa other brand na katon if naay sikat na ginaga na kato.
Okay, sige, continue daw. Okay, sige, medyo gets na ako. Pero, same question sa other group, unsa na domain ang gusto ninyo i-focus? Like say, for example, kanina, may clinical, nag-identify po mo og business, nag-identify po mo og, ano pa itong isa? Namoy sa business, marketing, clinical use. Unsa na domain ang gusto niyo i-focus? Ang main ninyo is really on the
UI, ma'am.
Effective use of user interface and user experience for
Yes,
what
ma'am.
domain?
Wala pa may ka,
So
ma'am.
far magsabot pa mi ma'am kung unsa
If
gyud
kung unsa ang imong ikuan, ma'am. If parse mo, if kani ba na domain is doable, pasok ba sa kanina since 9 weeks lang man ta, so katugod, ma'am. Dagan og mga
Sige. Um, medyo related siya sa katong giingon nako ganina na sa group 2 nga how would you use user interface and user experience for promotion and preservation of endangered languages. Okay, so something that is related to that promotion and preservation of endangered languages. How about actually medyo na ano ko na entice ko atong sa marketing strategy and saan siya.
yung sa advertisement ma'am.
Sa advertisement content marketing. So unsa man ang unsa man ang goal? Like unsa ang goal ninyo? For a certain domain. Gusto na ko something related to national cultural aspect. Like say, for example, what would be? Sama na siya ha. Unsa ito sa tanaw ninyo ang ganahan ninyo na domain? Kay kung mayon tag food service, of course number 1 dira no, either si Food Panda pag food service.
bali, ma'am.
Kung mag-benchmark tag food services na domain, murag ang nindot na i-benchmark is unsa ang UI UX for kanang ginagamit kay murag mag-comparative mo kay Food Panda, kay Grab Food, kay mga ana sa mga UX niya for food services. So ang ginaisip na ko is unsa ang domain nga i-focus ninyo. Sa inyo, unsa man ang tanong nimo?
Ang samo sa siguro is kana if naay domain good, ma'am, if unsay mahitabo if pangit ang ilang design tapos unsa po yung mahitabo sa ilaha if nindot good ang design, ma'am, balik kana pa mong ginakuan karon, ma'am ba? Wala ba dyan may kasabot na domain, ma'am? So if domain, ma'am, is siguro, ma'am, sa mga business side good siya, ma'am, kay bali if nayo kay business man good kanang automatic na good na dapat na design pa ma-appealing good sa tao, ma'am. Save sa cellphone, sa sapatos, tanan-tanan. Sa color pa lang, sa box.
Ako'y naisip, page. Hindi lang ha. um, marketing, okay, tara, gets na. Kita na nako. How about you focus on this one? This will focus on the application of marketing principles and decision. Kani siya, they say na indigenous people's products could help promote regional tourism. Okay, so why not you focus on what would be the best design on how we could promote indigenous people's products. Kani siya. So what we would want is that a way for potential customers of these indigenous people. So mura siya you will give power for these indigenous people na ma-market nila ang ilahang products through your application. What do you think? So at least you will be targeting. So what would be how are you going to so meaning our question here is that will you be designing an application that is same for entrepreneurs na or kanang naadjud sila kanang business minded gid nga mga person ba like kanang mga nagabenta sa mga food panda or kanang na mga physical gid na mga physical na mga store. Will you be designing the same kind of application for indigenous people who are non-techies? Okay, so unsa ang nindot na what would be the best design for this kind of users? Okay, so when we say indigenous people, no, we could really assume na non-techie sila. So in order for them to really promote and market kay ang ano lang yun, ang way lang for them to sell their products is either number one, someone from the urban environment or sa city wadto sa kana siya na place and then i-promote ang ilang product. That's one way sa social media. Second is either i-promote nila sa kanang mga nag-aadto sa kanang area. For example, kanang mga nitibo goods sa mga nitibo nga nagabaligya o mga cultural products nila sa may somewhere sa Kidapawan good na ano.
Like yung mga coffee, ma'am.
Coffee, basta kana nila ng mga products. Walay way for us to know, walay way for us to know kung saan mga products nga available sa ilaha kay nala mo sila sa dito na place, no? What if we give them the ability, the power to market their products, and then you try to think unsa ang good design that is applicable for this kind of users. Will you be designing it the same way as you design, for example, kaning buylocal.ph. Buylocal.ph. Kani siya is Davao made ni siya na site to promote Davao products. Kana siya. Will you be designing something like this one na ang target user ninyo kabalo mo na mga IPs sila or mga indigenous people sila. So kana siya. Which is I really find find this, medyo siya, medyo, para sa kuha, dull siya. Ah, dili kayo siya maka So, unsa ang mga components may so UI components. So, basically, sa technical writing ninyo na part, ma-identify ninyo unsa ang mga dapat na mga components for a good UI and user experience for kani siya na type of users, wherein they should be able to effectively market their products. So instead of creating social media accounts, your app should be able to help them. Okay? So what would be the good design for that? Kana siya. I would suggest na kani siya kani man good kay para connected good siya dito sa isa ka group nga ang ilaha pod is katong endangered languages man good is normally spoken siya by indigenous people. Okay, so kanang mga wala kayo mga indigenous people gina nagakuan. So medyo medyo connected siya. So sila mag-promote sila gyud sa specific na endangered languages kamo is in their products, mga cultural products nila. Okay?
So like nami kanang murag collaboration ma'am sa pikas na
No, not necessarily collaboration. Separate man gid mo lahi ma'am no, pero ang theme ba is more on
Okay.
the promotion. Pero sila is promotion and preservation of endangered languages. Kamo is really more on promotion and marketing of indigenous people products through a technology enhanced na mga applications. Okay, so murag ang output ninyo ani sa technical writing is what are the effective components that should be in an application or kung website na siya or a mobile application that is targeted to this type of users. So dapat maka-search mo ana. So will it be the same for users nga sila kanang well-versed sila in using technology or will it be different? Okay? So kana siya. Okay, so but that is just my suggestion, but you can also think of another focus. So magsabot mo kamo na group kung unsa ang inyong gusto i-focus and then magsabot mo unsa inyong gusto i-focus and then you do a intensive literature review about that one. Tapos i-try ninyo unsa man ang mga existing karon. Okay, so unsa ang mga existing karon na mga technologies that is addressed to that kind of problem. Okay? Nasabtan ba?
yes ma'am.
Okay, sige. Sige, so medyo kulang naman ta sa time, no? So the remaining groups, kinsa pa ba ang remaining groups? Na wala nakapresent?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, so yan. Ansa pa? Kinsa pa? Group
Kami
7.
nila Kulango, ma'am.
Group 7, group 7. Sige. Okay lang sa inyo ha, tomorrow na lang ta. 2 groups na lang.
Sa mga ma'am, okay lang, ma'am.
Okay.
Pero na may question, ma'am ba? Kung pwede ba na ma-revise among dokyo kay pilaw, murag dili pa may sure atong ipangbutang na, ma'am.
Sige, sure. I will allow you to revise it.
Same din
So
po
tomorrow
namin,
na
ma'am.
lang ta, ha?
Sige, ma'am.
Pwede rin po namin ma-revise kasi hindi rin po namin sure. Di po yun kami
Sige,
sure.
sige. Okay,
Okay,
sige.
ma'am.
Okay, so tomorrow
Sige,
na lang ka, no? So the group of Sulian and Dinero. Dinero, kung saan yung kauban?
Ma'am, si Kulango ako, ma'am.
Palango, si Sulian,
Visaya and Katakutan, ma'am.
Bisaya, and Katakutan. Okay? Okay, so that would be all for today. So, di ba dapat na duha ka, dali, group 4. Okay, so that would be all for today. The group of Sulian and Dinero, see you tomorrow. The other groups, I will just leave an instruction sa classroom na to sa elect 014. So dito na ko ipang-upload para isa lang ang platform wherein you will submit all your revisions. Magatag lang ko instruction dito kung sa inyong next na buhaton, pero as what I have instructed a while ago, you focus on now, can identify naman ninyo sa inyong gusto na topic. You do an intensive literature review about the chosen topic or identified topic. Okay, so that would be all for this afternoon.
Ay, ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ay, murag, wala pa ko sa diri na classroom yata, ma'am.
Wala pa ka din.
Sa CC na classroom, ma'am.
CC322, sige, add di ka.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sige. Kung wala na ilang question, that would be all for this afternoon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.